Dude, I love kombucha.
Bam, we're live. Right before we. Oh, nice. Right before. What? How much sugar's in there?
0 grams. Fuck you. Just kidding. 12 grams.
How much?
12.
Right before we came on, you couldn't guess what JR told me. He's like, I'm gonna go get a lamp, and I swear to you, it's darker with his lamp than without his lamp.
There was no lamp. I think my wife sold it. Tough times.
I feel you. Yes, Daniel. Bam. We are live with the amazing self-made training program, Taylor Self, and J.R. Howell, two of my absolute favorites. I don't give a shit about steroid use, and Hiller now has me interested in it, and I don't give a shit about programming, and now Taylor and JR. I think I just like these guys, and I want to hang out with them.
Dude, never mind. I don't know if I can say this on the air.
Let's open strong. Let's open hard. Say it.
Dude, what about Liver King? What do you think, dude? He's your boy.
I liked Hiller's last video on him.
What was it?
I think it sums it up really well. He has 1.7 million followers. He stands by his 9 tenets. All the emails that show that he did steroids show that he does stand by his 9 tenets. Like when he tells his drug dealer or whoever he was getting the roids from, he's like, I take these pills. I do this. I never eat sugar. I eat this many eggs. Like he stood by.
He standed by his pillars.
He standed by his, he standed by his pillars. And I personally have said from the beginning that I don't care whether he's on steroids or not. From the beginning, you go back and look at episodes like
huge,
yeah,
dude.
like I give two shits. And what Hiller was pointing out is look at all the other people. Like Rock has 240 million followers. What's he stand for?
That's a good point.
Katrin David's daughter has 1.7 million followers. What's she stand for? And I think it's really weak sauce, all the people in his space from the and I think the guy Derek, the no plates, no dates guy, I'm okay with what he did because that's what he does. Right? And so it's like I was telling Hiller one time I walked up on a murder scene. A dude had just killed 5 people who jumped out of the car and said, I'm the angel of death. And I filmed it all. And people thought that was like, I got criticism for it. It's like, dude, I literally carried a camera everywhere with me for 3 years.
Like that's what I did. Samaritan law or something.
That's what I did. And so I find the whole thing fascinating and showing people's true colors. That it's a typical shit. Like just kick a man when he's down. It's sad. I sent him a text and I said, hey, buddy, I love you. I stand by you. I'm an ally. I'm an ally. And so, I mean, can you tell me what any of the games athletes stand for who have all these? I know they stand for Whoop and Monster Energy Drink. And I don't mean to shift the subject either from the fact that he lied. But I don't care if someone really like, I don't have any trust issues. I've transcended trust.
No, I mean, I love your response. And I think the question about the games athletes is a fair one. I know many games athletes who, before they sign the big contracts and before they get in with the big groups, have seemed like they stand for something and have a message that they carry that's unique to them. And then it just seems to dissipate. With the more success they get, they shut the fuck up about it, which is sad.
I don't know if you follow UFC, but Brian Ortega, he's out of East LA. When he first started fighting, he would always, at the end of his fights that he'd win, he'd always talk about how it's all about the kids. And then as he became more and more famous, you never hear any of that shit. Whereas other athletes, they bring that kid with cancer to every one of their fights and make sure that they drag their ass into the ring. So I everything's on a scale, right? And I see just a ton of good from what Liver King did and just a tiny bit of bad. And I
Would you consider yourself a primal?
No, but I'd like to be. But I'd like to be. It's also like let's say I found out you and JR had been shooting each other in the butt with steroids. Like what? Like I would love to have you guys on the show even more. Like what am I gonna? Those guys can't be on my show anymore. They got caught cheating. Like fuck that. That's not. I don't do that. I did see Kayla Harrison lost the fight. That broke my heart. That other chick was tough, though, man. Liver King is an actor. It only matters if you care. He said he didn't do juice. Yeah. Other than that, yeah. Anyway, I'd like to see people speak up more on subjects that really matter to me. Freedom of speech, safety for kids. That's what I'd like to see.
Did you get my Balenciaga doll comment in the text thread? 'Cause
Yes.
John Young didn't get it. That was so
I'm glad he didn't get it. I'm so disgusted that that's penetrated my brain. That is a train wreck.
It's fucked. It's crazy. It's so conspiratory and like deep that it's like, what the it just is so. Dude, all that shit's fucking true, bro. Hollywood's a bunch of pedos.
Torrance, not East LA. It's Paul. Wait, what did I say about East LA? Ortega. Wow, Sarah. Sarah knows her UFC fighters. All right, fine, whatever. God, I had to take a piss so bad, and I was driving down from San Francisco to Newport to the California Hormones Palace on the beach. And I was like, hey, find a McDonald's or a Starbucks. And we pulled off the road in East LA, and I just got right back on the freeway. Holy shit. I can't even believe humans live like that.
Did you have that sweater on?
I did.
I bet that only helped matters.
Oh my goodness. I got that out of the Gaines box, and I was going to throw it away, and I wore it once, and now I've worn it like 20 times from the last Gaines box. It's so nice.
It's perfect for this time of year.
Yeah, thank you. Agree with you, Sevan, but can you believe him on all the other stuff? So that's the thing. If you go watch Hiller's most recent video, he goes through all the emails and line by line and shows you all the stuff. That it's not like we're just highlighting it, right? We're just highlighting the fact that he said that he was trying to figure out what steroids to take to get rid of his back fat. But Hiller goes through line by line, and you can see, well, you can choose for yourself. Check it out. It's his most recent video. That's actually the first thing I thought. Does he actually sleep on wood? So good thing I'm from Northeast LA. Thank you. It's awesome here. I'm glad to be back in my Southern California studio. It is a Starbucks cup. It is not Starbucks in it. It is Paper Street coffee. I brought my own Paper Street coffee, but on the drive down, I had a Starbucks cup because I did stop at Starbucks. And so I apologize.
You bring your bag of beans inside and be like, hey, can you fucking make this coffee for me?
Well, that would have been awesome. How about Lipson getting pancreatitis? Dude, I'm really scared for him. I think that's some serious shit.
He's a good guy too. He's a really nice dude.
He is a great guy. I want to start with a question you guys probably aren't expecting. I think it's just a few hours away. Are we just a few hours away from the Dubai Fitness Championship starting?
Yeah, it's going to start here in a couple hours, I believe.
I'm going to ask you a question. It's not a trick question at all, but I think it's a little bit out of left field. Why do you think people put on events?
In short, maybe ego a little bit, not necessarily in a bad way, but you think you can do something great and put on a good show. You think that you can do that. And if you have the resources and the athletes that want to do it, you do it.
Jethro, I just did 100. I was feeling like shit. I got out of the car. I did 100 burpees, jumped in the shower, kissed my wife, and here I am. That's why I look like this. But give me another word for ego. What's another word? Because that does have like negative connotation.
I'm trying to think of a word.
I mean, you're inspired. You're inspired by other events, also, right?
You think that you can do a good job, and that is your ego. It doesn't mean it's untrue,
right?
And it doesn't mean it's a bad thing.
I would say that probably all of us, any person that's ever put on a exercise race competition or CrossFit competition, has at one point just been inspired by the CrossFit Games. And then outside of that, it's all motivation. So it's all intrinsic. It all has to come from within. I can speak for myself and just say that the reason why I started to do it was just because I wanted to see if I could. It was a challenge. And then after that, it was easily just to give athletes opportunities to compete.
Confidence, desire, and purpose. And so there's these events out there. We just covered the Zealous Games. There's Wadapalooza. And those are more complex, right? Like we all know Dylan, he's an amazing guy, but he's the big cog in the wheel, right? He's the vice president of sport at Loud Live, the same way Matt O'Keefe was. We know that Justin Berg and Adrian are just cogs in that CrossFit Games wheel, and then there's people like you and Jerry, and that's in no way negative, but they do it because they've probably found a job that pays, that they love, so they get to mix those passions. But then there's people who, like you, put on the Charlotte Classic, Zealous Games, the Crash Crucible, where there's or look at even I think his name's Wilson Tang, the guy who puts on the 2 semifinals. I mean, just fucking crazy, right? Puts his ass out on the line, and there's like, what's in it for him other than just love, right? Of doing it, and maybe like the pride and the ego of accomplishing it.
Yeah, I think, I definitely, maybe, I don't know, pride. I don't know that I felt much pride after my event. It's not some huge event, but I feel happy and fulfilled that we did a good job. I think the reason I wanted to start it is because I was very frustrated with events that were happening that didn't play out or weren't executed the way I thought a good event should be. And I thought it was just underwhelming as an athlete to go to these, competitions, whether they be local ones or really big ones that just, in my opinion, weren't that great, weren't run very well. Workouts weren't great. You leave, with more to be desired on how the volunteers treated you or how the volunteers were treated by the event staff. Anywhere from, okay, this person's judging 10 workouts straight in a day, or they get rest and are getting paid and can tell that they're doing a good job and are sharp, versus are they just getting their dicks run into the dirt?
Correction, by the way, it's Wilson Pack, not Wilson Tang. Maybe Wilson Tang's the guy I used to work with at HQ, who's also an amazing guy. And then Liz says, and I think both of you definitely, this is it for both of you guys. I think there's at least a sprinkle of this. You get to put your own taste into it. You guys are eager to test your programming skills in a live event.
Yeah, I definitely get off on that because I think I can do a really good job doing it, and it's fulfilling to watch it play out and excite other people. The athletes won, but the spectators as well, because the sport's not going to grow without that. I think a lot of people miss that part of it. Is are you creating something that's exciting for people to go and watch? Like, a local competition has the potential to be so fucking exciting for people who just might not even know what CrossFit is. A family member who's going to watch their kid or brother, and you have this opportunity to make it so freaking cool or totally dumb.
Vindicate Charlotte Classic was one of the most well-run comps I've ever been to. Kept the events moving. Most I've been to always run behind schedule.
I take pride in that. I'm very punctual.
Paper Street Coffee, Taylor did an amazing job with this comp. So
JR helped me a lot, and he gave me the flu in the process.
Nice. He's a giver, not a taker. Let the Dubai coverage begin. Anyone on the team out there? Not sure if I missed that info. No. Yes. No. Yeah. Maybe. So here's the thing that inspired that loaded question.
I know.
You wouldn't throw a competition in a vacuum. Like, an important part of creating art is creating it for the spectator. That's where the ego is, right? Like, I wouldn't do this podcast if I knew no one would ever see it. I just would not. And I just am always surprised at the lack of collaboration with the event. And I'll throw you two in there too. I don't think you guys used me very well to promote your events. I'm just surprised at the lack of collaboration from these people who throw these events, you two included, Dubai, that don't reach out to try to get more publicity. Is it because you guys are just run so thin, or?
I would say in me and JR's case, to me, it's more of maybe not necessarily being run so thin, but nervous to ask you for that. Not in a negative way, but like, I don't want to waste your time with that. And maybe that's...
I think it's 100% pride and ego that we don't want to ask for help.
Yeah, okay. but not in like a way where like, oh, well, we don't need the help. That's not what I'm thinking. I'm not thinking I don't need the help. I'm just thinking, I already asked you for so much and you've given me so much. It's tough for me to be like, hey, do this for me. And maybe that's wrong of me, and I should ask that in the future. Well,
it's funny you say pride and ego, because I think that's why the CrossFit, I'll leave the CrossFit Games alone. But I just can't believe. So there's an event starting in a couple hours where these guys are going to run up a staircase, right? And
Biggest
we
one
could
in the
have
world.
biggest staircase in the world. It is.
And it looks like the staircase of a Best Western. Let me tell you, if you watch the fucking videos.
Why wouldn't these guys reach out and let us cover this for them? This would be so easy to cover. You just have 10 people on the stairwell with iPhones every 10 floors. I can't even find where to link to their shows. If I go to their YouTube channel here, I don't even know where the live, like I click this live tab and they don't even have the, and maybe the Prince is a different category. Maybe the Prince is in a whole different category. Maybe he actually just doesn't give a shit about people watching his event. But this is an amazing event with a lot of energy and time put into it. Why not do more promotion? Maybe I'm just full of myself, but I would have loved to have participated and help promote this on a grander level.
Oh, wow. This, according to Brian, Morning Chalk Up's the official media partner. So maybe they can't. I don't know.
I think they were the official media partner for Zelos Games too, weren't they, or something like that? They were somehow involved. We were told that they were going to stream our broadcast. Anyway, just a thought. Like, hey.
No, I think events like me and JR's need more publicity, and we shouldn't be such pussies about asking for it.
Yeah. What's the worst I could say? Are you? I just start laughing.
Yeah, that would be the worst.
All right. I don't know exactly what time this show starts. Hopefully we'll get some of this information here, but it says Friday, December 2nd on this post that you are about to see. This is event 1, Burj Khalifa Challenge. That's the name of the giant building? Is that the world's tallest building?
I'm calling it the Burj Run.
The Burj Run. Run up the Burj Khalifa, 160 floors with a weight vest on, 7 kilograms for women, 10 kilograms for men. This sounds absolutely brutal.
I love it in theory. Love it.
Me too. Any thoughts on this? You want to start off, JR?
Yeah, I think this is really classic Dubai. I think something that HWPO has kind of been given the reins on, but still trying to hold true to, is to use Dubai and its landscape to do some sort of different, very unique offsite event away from the venue that most of the events are held at. So in a year, they did, a 8K desert run in a vest. They've done just a traditional 4K. They've done hang kettlebell snatches and kettlebell thrusters into a 350-meter ocean swim with a rest, and then an 800-meter air runner into another 350-meter ocean swim. So they've used open water. They've used an indoor ski center with a ski erg and a run up a ski slope, which is really cool.
In the desert,
So,
in the middle of the desert, you
Right.
had to run up a ski slope that was ice and snow on it.
So this is really Dubai, like to its core, to do something like this, something different, something.
Question for you, JR. Do you think this was HWPO's idea to run the Burj? Do you think that was something that the Crown Prince or maybe the event directors of Dubai took to HWPO and said, hey, make this an event?
I think it would be too coincidental, foolish, and irresponsible to think that the guy that's been telling people for years that a Stairmaster is an amazing workout gets to program the ultimate Stairmaster workout.
I'm gonna check this really quick and see, is this the tallest building in the world?
It was at one point.
What a cool thing for the athletes to be able to say that they did an event where they ran up the staircase of this building.
Yeah, Brian Spin did a Instagram live today where he had a competitive stair climber on it and said that like this would be a bucket list place for them just to come see if they could do it. That there's never been a competition here at this one.
Tell me more. Is that on the Barbell Spin?
It was on his Instagram live. It's probably on his YouTube now. If he's in the comments, I'm sure he can let us know where to find it. The interview.
The Khalifa Tower, known as the Burj Dubai, prior to its inauguration in 2010, is a skyscraper in Dubai. It's known for being the world's tallest building with a total height of 829.8 meters, 2,722 feet, just over a half a mile.
It's a half a mile up. That's fucked. So it's just, wow. Yeah, the distance is a lot. They're covering a lot of distance.
So you guys like this?
I love the workout on paper. I think some of the execution things I'm unsure about.
Oh, and what do you mean? Just how they're going to run it? Like if they're going to let the guys go one at a time, spaced out by 30 seconds with chips, or if it's going to be a start, all man start, all woman start, or what are you talking about? The execution?
According to sources, it's a 2-minute delay start per athlete with chip timers, and I don't like that. To mince my words, I really don't like that. I feel like there's a lack of creativity there, and if I were doing the event, I would think about maybe running like a 10-story or a 15-story time trial or qualifier for athletes to run, and then you group them in sets of 2 to 5 or 3 to 5 athletes and release them in heats of 3 to 5 and let the fastest start, let the next fastest group go next. And if you sucked in the qualifier and you can pass people, then that'll show at the end of the race.
So I think what they did is they actually used the qualifier for the competition to determine start times for later today. So whoever qualified for this competition in the last position starts, and then they go up the leaderboard that way. Maybe so the top qualifier going into the competition gets to start last.
But that
which it doesn't seem like it would have much of an advantage because you have those 2 minutes in between. What I would push back and maybe say is that you think about how mentally grueling a workout like this is going to be. What's more mentally grueling than starting by yourself 2 minutes in front of someone else and 2 minutes behind someone else? You may go 15 minutes without seeing one person, or you may get passed by one person. What does that do to you mentally? Does it create a game in your head where you're like, hey, if I can see someone, I need to pass them. Or if I can feel someone coming up on me, I can't let them pass me.
Right. I just think it's better for a spectacle or a potential spectacle to start them in clusters. I don't think there's much danger involved. I think a hierarchy happens after the first couple of turns, and that's part of what makes racing fun. If you go watch Formula One, watching the fucking start is sick because you know some crashes are going to happen, and you know the most passes are going to happen. And once the athletes sort it out, then the fastest move to the front and the slowest fall off. And whether or not the slowest guy starts in pole position or not, it doesn't really matter at the end of the race. The fastest guy is going to win. So I just think that running a 10 or 15-story qualifier, like the online qualifier, has no bearing on whether you can run the Burj Khalifa fastest. You might be fit, but are you a good runner for 160 stories? The clean and jerk burpee workout doesn't translate directly to that. So I think if they ran a 10 or a 15-story pre-race qualifier and the fastest 3 are going to be released at the same time together, then the next fastest 3.
Why not just release them all at the same time? Let them fight at the front.
I think that would probably be exciting, but it would be like fucking injuries everywhere. People pulling hair and fucking yanking people down the stairs. I like stuff like that.
It's 2,909 stairs.
It's a lot. It'll sort itself out eventually, but I just don't think the excitement is there with one guy starting in a 2-minute delay, one by one by one by one.
And we are going to see people get past, right?
For sure. Absolutely. It's probably going to be a 30 to 40-minute workout, and people are going to get past.
And everyone's going to be sore, right? We may see some people are going to be broken. There's going to be wires on them, whatever those wires are that are behind your knee, those 2 things that you can just feel behind your knee. I don't know what those are. Those things are going to be tight.
This is the thing. You have someone who could start first, and then someone who starts 15th, and the 15th person could run the fastest time of anyone and never see the first place person. The first place person still finishes first, and I just don't like that. I like the people who have the potential to go fastest start first, and then you're in a cluster with 2 other or 3 other guys or girls that can run fast too, and now you guys are pushing each other the whole race.
The one thing I would say about a time trial is that unless you run the entirety of this, you can't get a feel for how much it's going to take its toll and how much you're going to potentially slow down or be able to maintain or even speed up at the end.
Right. But this is where strategy for actual racing comes in hand. If you're going to be the slowest guy in the pack, do you really want to start with the fastest 4 guys and fuck yourself royally by trying to keep up with them for the first 5 flights? Like, is that really going to benefit you? So if you're a slow runner, and at the same time, if you're the slowest in the pack, are you really going to be able to run the 10-story time trial or the 15-story time trial faster than the fastest guy in the pack? I mean, there is an element of, okay, nothing's going to be perfect, but I just think that is better than starting one person at a time. Just my personal opinion.
Yeah,
By the way,
there's
go
a
ahead.
ton of factors that are going to come into play here. I think Brian wrote in his article, there is no air conditioning in that. So if it's just a bunch of dry heat, the higher you go, just breathing in general and being used to that kind of change in altitude. I mean, think about that, 800 meters in the air from the bottom to the top. There's going to be a big change in ventilation. There's going to be, the weight vest is really going to come into play, not just in your lower back, but probably in your breathing as well. Anyone who's done a lot of work in a vest knows it just gets harder to breathe the longer the workout gets.
Who is this guy?
That's the Crown Prince.
Oh, how many do they have? Is it just one?
I don't know, but Fazaz. Every picture has a story, and every story has a moment that I'd love to share with you. Thanks and enjoy. 15 million followers, 2,400 posts. I think this guy is the reason there is the event. He's the sponsor. I think he's what brings CrossFit to Dubai. I think that this workout, the only thing that I can think is comparable to this that I've ever seen is the half marathon row at the games. I think this is going to be really, really bad. Like, what do you mean bad? Like hard on the athletes or boring? I think it's gonna be not. I don't know about boring, but specifically on their bodies, I think they're gonna feel some stuff that's so unique, some tightness that's so unique that they've never felt before. I think this will crush people more than the half marathon row, without a doubt. I think it'll take a bigger toll on the body. I mean, can you think of anything else? I mean, this is going to be horrible, right? Can you think of any event at any semifinal games, anything that's like this?
I don't know. Pendleton 1 and 2 seem to leave a pretty big.
And apparently the first event of Rogue, the trail run. I don't know. But that's not something that athletes aren't used to. I think this does have the potential to just catch a lot of people off guard. Any injuries on this? No, I bet you get some savage DOMs though from people who are not used to running bleachers. Yeah, savage. Calves and ankles and their soleus, the back of their legs is going to be really messed up, beat up. Hips too. Your hips are flexed the whole time. Any thoughts when you saw this where you're like, oh, so-and-so is going to crush this? Or is it like the row? You just can't know. You don't know what's going to happen after the 50th floor.
Yeah, I think the uncertainty, the unknown element of this, because this isn't something that people have trained for. Most people don't say, hey, I'm going to go climb a bunch of steps and learn how to cadence my hands on the rails with my cadence of my steps. No one does that. And I also don't even think that Chad 1,000 times is even close to this either. You just get so much of a rest on the eccentric. There's no eccentric here. It's all concentric motion. There's no eccentric motion. It is 160 floors and 800 meters straight up of concentric contraction. There's just no downward. There's no negative. Let's talk about different feeling. Let's talk about the weight vest and the rules. Are there any rules? Can you not grab the railing? I'm assuming that there's no rules in there once you're in there, because to make it just easy to judge. There are some rules. Yeah. So apparently this place is almost like a sacred monument, and there has to be a certain level of respect when you're in it. So because of that, you can't bring water. You have to let people pass. So if someone's coming up on you, you have to feed to them.
No water. Like fuck you. Can I tell a story? I got to tell a story real quick.
Please.
This kid joined our gym, and we were doing Murph like a couple weeks after he joined our gym. He'd been doing CrossFit for like fucking 6 years. He was my old roommate, and we're doing Murph, and it's hot as fuck outside. And Andy and like all the other guys who had just finished are like sitting on the bleacher, like watching the next group go. And this kid is doing his push-ups, and he looks up at me with his face. He's like, "Hey, could you give me some water?" And I look at it. I'm like coaching the class, and I look at Andy, and Andy's like, "You better not get him any fucking water." I ended up going and getting him water, but that's funny. It reminded me of that. No fucking water, bitches.
If they would have allowed water, do you think people would have taken water with them?
For sure. I don't think it matters that much. It's 40 minutes. You're not going to dehydrate. Don't be a pussy.
And passing, really. So you have to. I wonder what that looks like. You have to let someone pass. Basically, you can't push someone back.
Well, you just have to be the fastest guy. if you're, yeah, you
Well, you
can't.
think like if your wingspan is wide enough
Mm.
to grab both rails, you could just keep walking slowly and not let them around.
Well, it's like it's like racing. In Formula One, you have rules. If you are the faster driver and it's clear on the track that you're the faster driver, there's a element of etiquette where you have to let that driver pass. And if you don't, it's not really racing. So I mean, that's why I think starting in clusters would have also been fine. Is the faster guy's going to pass? You're not going to be able to hold that guy back if you can't hold the pace that he can hold.
Liz R, it's like pushing a heavy sled. That is what it feels like on your quads after 20 floors, and it also feels like you're breathing through a straw. Oh yeah, I wonder what the air is going to be like in there.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. There is no air conditioning for sure.
There is none. Is that what you said?
Correct.
I love it.
And do we know what the temperature is on the ground there right now? I can look.
Yeah, but thinking about like a memory some of these athletes can take with them forever. Like, how cool is this going to be that they can say that they did this?
Very cool. 86 degrees will be the high tomorrow, or I guess it's tomorrow there now, and 70 will be the low. So there won't be any lows. Any other rules, JR? And then let's move on to the weight vest.
I just heard no water, no earbuds. You have to let people pass.
AirPods, no music. Yeah, fuck
okay.
No music.
Yeah. Anything? Do we know anything about the judging? Are there judges on every floor? Will there be any judges on the course?
Yeah, I don't know that. I think there was something in Brian's article that at one point maybe you have to exit to the outside, like to the open air, and then enter again into like a second building to continue to climb. So I don't know if maybe there'll be people there.
There's no phones, no photography allowed, and there's going to be marshals on every floor, meaning someone directing the athletes.
Oh, interesting. On every floor.
Yeah, and a lot of security as well, allegedly.
It sounds like on the 124th floor, there is some sort of shift. I just remember when we were just looking at the wiki page, there is something that happens on the 124th floor. That's where the observation deck is. So I'm guessing that is where, at that point, they come out of the stairwell. They have to run around and grab another stairwell to keep going.
Yeah, and one point too, I just want to kind of make to Liz's comment because it was a pretty good, pretty good comparison to just pushing a sled forever. One thing, if you do a lot of sled pushing and it is all concentric, it's not going to make you as sore as you feel immediately when you're done because there is no eccentric loading on the body. It's like pushing a sled. You're just going to push it till your legs say, yeah, we can't push it anymore. You got to stop. And you rest for 30 seconds, then you push it a little bit more. It's going to be similar to that on the stairs. I actually think if they went up and down, someone who's ran a lot of stairs, in their life, I'm sure Taylor has too, the way down is a break. But just like doing a long trail run, on the way down sometimes is what blows up your quads even more.
I don't know. I think that, whether or not athletes have tested this prior to or not is relevant, but you're never going to get game day intensity out of someone testing a workout prior to. And the intensity that these guys hit this at, I think will leave some pretty bad muscle soreness. I also don't necessarily, when you're running, there's not necessarily a ton of eccentric load either. It's a lot of concentric, and if you run sprints and aren't used to it, or run an 800 for time and aren't used to it, that can blow your legs up and leave you sore the next day.
This is a fantastic comment. Okay, there's no windows. Now let's cover up the floor numbers so they have no idea how much further it is.
That'd be awesome. Apparently there's 6 indoor transitions from stairwell to stairwell.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Good tidbit. So much hotter in the enclosed space too, if no ventilation. Bruce Wayne, it blows up your knees. How do you guys know of any CrossFit athletes? Taylor, did you or JR, did you guys ever run bleachers when you trained for the games?
No, not when I trained for the games. When I just trained for basketball, I used to go to Clemson's football stadium and run the stadium stairs a lot.
I've run hours of bleachers and hours and hours and hours. Not for CrossFit, but prior to starting CrossFit.
Do you think that that's something people should be doing?
I don't know that athletes would find the time to run the amount of bleachers that probably me and JR have run within the context of training for a sport CrossFit. I definitely think they should do it. But I think it also has to do with your background. If you have a deep background in it, you're going to be really good. And if you don't have a deep background in it, it's probably not worth your time to go spend the hours and hours and hours that it's going to take to win the event.
I think the loading of the joints is probably not worth spending that amount of time. I think you're a lot better suited spending a time on some other kind of machine or apparatus that has a lot more offloading
I think you could
benefits, like a bike or something like that.
Yeah.
At this point, for competitive CrossFitters, going and pounding on a bunch of concrete stadium stairs is probably not something.
down and up bleachers are definitely take a toll. But if you could find a building like the Burj and run it straight up and take a fucking elevator down, I don't think that would be. I don't think that's as much of a toll on the joints going up.
God, I'd love to see him get turned around and have to run back down. That would be awesome. And the weight vest. I know we're on that thread, and there were some people suggesting that the weight vest wasn't necessary and that it would be a better event without the weight vest. Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
I love the weight vest.
I think they probably had an idea of a time domain. If they wanted a certain time domain, maybe they had someone run it without a vest and someone run it, with a vest, and they said, okay, we need to throw a vest on them to slow them down a little bit more.
Get with it. Chase says stairwells are narrow enough. You can grab both rails to pull yourself up if you're tall enough. And then I think we all definitely agree with Kenneth DeLapp. CrossFit athletes are elite, but I don't see them easily recovering from this. I think every single person is going to be destroyed from this. This can't even be gamed, right? Even if you were to walk up, this is going to fuck you.
But to Taylor's point too, when you talk about knowing you're in a race and being in a race and what that does to your intensity, if you're 2 minutes apart, yeah, the chances of you getting past or passing are still pretty high, but not to the point where if you had a mass start or if you're starting in a cluster, whereas you don't really know if you need to push the pace or not, which is part of the beauty of the workout. That's up to you to continue to push the pace, but it's not like having someone right next to you the whole time.
Time cap?
None.
So do you think we'll see some people go over an hour?
No.
No. I don't know. You get surprised from time to time.
Is the fastest person a man or a woman in this, you think?
A man.
Is this a kind of event where if it were at the CrossFit Games, you couldn't say that if you had the most elite women and the most men? Is this one of those events that the playing field levels out?
No, I think probably the fastest men are hard to beat here, just like in Olympic running.
Marathon. And I would say even, we don't know if the degree of incline of these steps is such to where you can't skip steps. But you would just think limb length alone. If you're taller and you're able to skip steps the entire time over the course of 160 flights, you're probably going to be able to make up significant time there.
Sevi, easy, buddy. You can see the stairs online. We had an event in Dubai a few years ago, climbed 100 floors. I typed in stairs at Khalifa. I type in like fire exit. The stairs I see. Let me see images here. The stairs I see cannot be the stairs. It's like some fancy. Let's see fire stairs. Is that what you'd call them? Fire escape stairs? Fire.
Just look up the stairwell to a Best Western, and that's basically what they're running. It's concrete and painted beige hand railings.
I'm no Caleb. I can't figure this shit out. Sorry. But that is a big-ass building. Okay. So in summation, Taylor, give me the cliff notes for this event.
I like the workout, like running the Burj 160 flights with a vest, I think is awesome. I don't like the way they're starting athletes. I think that a time trial and then clusters is better for spectators, even if it makes it harder on the athlete. Who cares? It's better for spectators. That being said, I don't think there's going to be any sort of coverage on it to begin with, and I don't think they're allowed to. So maybe spectator coverage doesn't necessarily matter. I don't know. I think through my perspective as an athlete, I'd rather run it in clusters than one at a time. That's my only gripe.
Let's see. We might be. Let me see real quick here. JR, thoughts on this event?
I think it's a really cool opening event. I think it's good that they're doing something long to start it out. That's kind of become customary at some of these bigger, higher level competitions, to kind of set the tone for the weekend, to give them something they're going to feel on the rest of the events coming. So, in that respect, I think it's really well done. I hope that we'll hear about some back and forths between certain athletes, maybe that start in positions within 1 or 2 spots of one another, and that there's actually some good races.
I find the likelihood of that rare because they have it seeded based on the qualifier.
Overall, though, you guys love the event, right?
Yeah, I think it's really cool.
What about its placement as the first event? What about the last event?
No, I like it as the first event for sure.
You do. Mr. Friend, hi. Coming from a hotel room in Dubai with a fresh haircut.
Hey, no earbuds.
That's right.
Brian, will you be at this event, and when is the kickoff?
Bus is leaving from the hotel in 50 minutes. Yes, I'll be there, and they are starting an hour after we leave the hotel, which is 8:30 a.m. local time.
And were you able to listen? Is our information correct? Narrow staircase, start every 2 minutes, no water, must let people pass, stairwells narrow enough to grab both sides, 6 in and outs through the traverse up. Are those all accurate?
I don't know if it's exactly 6, but something like that. Yeah, there are multiple of them. Everything else is accurate, yes.
And have you had a chance to go into the stairwell?
Not yet. I thought that I may have a chance to do this one with the HWPO guys in testing, but they did it the day before I arrived.
Oh, sorry to hear that. How did they do? Have you seen them? Are they broken?
No, actually was talking to all of them last night, and they were surprised how not destroyed they were by it one day after. But you guys know that sometimes it takes 2 days for that stuff to set in. Kind of interesting element of that is there's nothing else that day, and it's like about 30 hours later that they'll start the next workout. So maybe I don't know, maybe it won't affect them the next day, but possibly for Sunday. And obviously they have a lot of other stuff to do as well.
Time cap?
No time cap. Everyone has to finish. I think it's extremely unlikely that anyone finishes under 30 minutes, and also pretty unlikely that someone takes over an hour.
And do we know what the world record is for this?
I have heard of people doing it in the low 30 minutes, but I'm not sure if they were wearing a weight vest or not.
Very, very good point. And what's the feel you get from the athletes? Are they excited about this?
Extremely. I think the general sentiment last night was you can get into the building potentially, but there's places in the building that you can't get to. And especially the top. I think like if you paid whatever fee to be able to go up there, you still wouldn't be able to get to the top 10 or 15 floors. And these athletes will have the opportunity to do that. So they recognize that this is something that they wouldn't, you wouldn't be able to do it in this capacity on your own.
The wiki page says the observation deck is on the 124th floor, and they're going to go up an additional 36 floors. So they're going to see from places that.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's a pretty small area up there. So they'll have, I think every 10 athletes that come in, they're going to have to take them out of there. I do think that they have to leave their phones on the bus. I think they have to label them. I think they're going to bring them to the top. I think at the top, they'll have a chance to take a picture with their phone, and then they have to turn their phone back in, and they'll take it back down to the bus for them. So there's a lot of elements of this workout that are it's very much a promotion of Dubai, but it's also a very private and sanctified area. So they have to follow certain protocols to be able to do this.
That's like my place in Newport. It's sanctified too. It's crazy sanctified. I don't know what that means,
Yeah,
but I feel it.
Very much on par, those two.
Yes.
You only know that word because it's a Rick Ross song, right?
Is it?
Pretty sure.
Oh, I love Rick Ross. That sucks that I didn't know that reference. Brian, where will you be during the event? And will there be any streaming of it anywhere?
Can't stream anything from there. We will have, I think, an opportunity to have some photographers in the building at specific spaces. So you might see some, pictures of athletes on the back end, but nothing live streamed from what I understand. We will be there, and our intention is to do some kind of a recap video after the event ends, and hopefully release that. So
Any thoughts on who's going to win the event for the men, Brian?
I think the Jukic brothers and Brent Fikowski are going to probably do very well on this. But I was talking with some of the women from Norway, and they said that this is like a dream workout for them from the cross country skiing and hiking through mountains perspective of their whole life, and that this like Lena Richter and Matilda Garns. I think Matilda Garns is going to smash this.
Wow. And the men? You said Luke, the Jukic brothers. Sorry, I was looking at Rick Ross.
Yeah, those guys.
Sanctified.
Yeah, I think the Jukic brothers do well.
Dying, right?
but you know, like these guys have talked about, this is a workout we've never seen anyone do a workout like this, and it's a field that has, you know, about half the field that we haven't seen to really do any workouts at this high of a level competition. So certainly there's room for some surprises.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yes, that's a good call too, Emily Rolfe.
I like that pick. That's good.
Mr. Taylor Self, any picks on the men and women's individual events here?
I like Raw for the women, and then it said Lazar Jukic for the men.
And Mr. J.R. Howell.
I like Rolf and Fikowski.
Wow. He's not too big, JR?
I think his length is going to help him a lot. Maybe not only in just stride, and maybe he's one that alternates flights. Like one flight he skips a stair, and then one flight he goes singles, and then one flight he skips, one flight he goes singles. But also too, maybe being able to literally pull himself up on the rails because his wingspan is so wide might actually be advantageous also.
And we know Koski's Yana Koski's got a great engine. Obviously much different than being in the water, but do you think it'll translate well on the stairs? You think he's top 5 in this?
Yeah. I think
he should do well. I mean, from that same perspective of the Norwegian woman, you know, this guy, he does a lot of cross country skiing as his active recovery is something he just loves to do. And just the kind of that repetitive motion where, you know, in cross country skiing, you're also having the pulling with the stepping that you can take advantage of on the handrails here. So he should be set up well for this one. Yes.
Brian, I know that your time is limited, so I want to ask you about this. I'm on the Dubai Fitness Championships YouTube page, and I don't see where we can start like clicking the notifications. Do they not have their live events published yet? Do you have any thoughts on that or ideas on how we can make sure we get to see all these events?
I've been watching the show since the beginning. I saw you ask that earlier, and I made a mental note to check in and see if I can find out more about that today.
You demand. Okay, cool. Because it'd be great to know. They are streaming the events though, right?
Not this one, but the rest of them, yes.
Fantastic. And that is, and we'll hear you and Derek Forrest as the commentators on that.
Yeah, the live stream here nationally is a very important element of this competition, and to represent Dubai and all the things that like you said, the investors and the organizers wants to represent, and so they take a high premium on doing a good job with that. So it'll be on Dubai Sport here in the UAE, and then internationally on their YouTube channel.
Will it be your voice on those also?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, they'll have it. They have a Arabic and an English stream, so we won't be doing the Arabic.
Okay. You could probably learn Arabic in a year, maybe next year. And then these next workouts that I'm going to show you are these. How many events total for this? For the Dubai Fitness Championships?
These guys know that stuff. I spoke with JR a little while ago, so he can answer those. I actually do have to get going. We're going to go have some breakfast before getting on the bus.
Peace and love.
Good to see you guys.
Remember, don't get your hands chopped off. Keep them to yourself. Okay.
I'd guess somewhere around 8 events.
So there are 8. Confirmed 8. Total scored. So there's 800 points up for grabs. That was communicated to the athletes at the briefing. So whether that means that, as customary with Dubai, they have some back-to-back workouts where they do a workout, have a short rest, and then do another one, or there's a workout that has 2 scored 100-point events within that workout. You know, in the past they've done a workout with a bike erg and a swim where they use the total time of completion to be 1 score, and then the time of your slowest bike erg to be another score. And they've done the same thing similarly to a row workout. So we could see something like that, or just like a back-to-back workout.
I think it's probably a back-to-back. So we've got 8 scores, and 5 of them have been released.
Okay, and is this the second? Do we know if it's 5 in a row? So we have this get a grip.
We don't know
fast
the order. We don't know the
Okay.
order.
So these workouts that are announced right here. So we only know 5 workouts now.
Yeah, 5 events. The Burj Run, and then
We know that 2 of them are Saturday and 2 of them are Sunday, but which ones, I'm not sure.
Okay.
so this is presumably the next workout. We can just operate on that. It's going to be an incorrect assumption, but we might just, for the purpose of the show.
Fair enough. So there will be 3 additional workouts. We'd have to guess that they'll be split over Saturday and Sunday, like maybe one more on 3 on Saturday total and 4 total on Sunday.
Well, something that we do know
Potentially.
that Brian talked about was there's on Saturday there's a mandatory prayer time that they have to observe regardless of what's going on. And I think that's like an hour long. So it may be that we get more workouts or more points up for grabs on Sunday, which would
Okay.
also add to some assignments. So if we have 100 points on Friday, and then maybe we have 300 points up for grabs on Saturday, because they only have a 5-hour window to complete all their workouts with that mandatory respite. And then on Sunday, there's maybe 400 points. So we have 4 scored events on Sunday.
Has anyone asked to has anyone been fitted for bathing suits, goggles, any clues that we have that they'll be going in the water? Or I haven't even looked at these workouts. Or do any of these workouts they've announced already put them in the water?
No water yet, but I don't think it's far-fetched to think that they will swim at some point.
Taylor, they going in the water?
I don't think so.
No. Have they gone in the water every other year since going back to whatever 2014?
They didn't go last year.
Okay, so it's time that they go in.
I don't know. I don't see them going in the water with the Burj Run, but I could be wrong.
With the Burj Run? You mean with the Burj Khalifa?
Yeah.
You think that's their?
I think that's their single. I mean, I think that's their long event. I just don't see them doing a water workout. It could be incorrect, but I would be concerned if the 5 scores that we have are what they are, and one of the unannounced 3 includes swimming. I would be hesitant.
You don't like that?
I wouldn't see that playing out well with what we have now. I don't think there's room for swimming in the last 3 events. Personally,
JR, tell him he's crazy.
No, he's not crazy if he's going from a traditional spread of MWG. And what we do know is that there's 2 MWG workouts announced. So one has rowing, one has shuttle runs, and then we have a long monostructural on Friday. And then we know now that they've been sized for drag ropes. So if you add that as another monostructural, Taylor's point does hold some weight. They're rowing in this one. Then they have shuttle runs in another one. They're doing the stair run in the first workout. And then we know that they're going to be doing double unders at some point too.
The MWG that Mr. Howell's referencing is monostructural workouts, weightlifting workouts, and gymnastics workouts. I need to write that down. I forget.
And we already have 2 of those that have been announced, which is cool because we have 2 triplets, essentially both very different formats, but that have a monostructural element, a weightlifting element, and a gymnastics element.
I think Taylor died. Okay, so we're going to go to the second workout. What we think is the second workout. We don't know the order. Oh, another thing to point out. This programming has been done by HWPO, by Matt Fraser. This is Matt Fraser's program. I'm just noticing right here it says HW. I don't even know how I take that off. I push this. No. It says HWPO training and Matt Fraser. So we know that, right? They are the programmers for the Dubai Fitness Championships.
Yeah, I think that team. I think Matt and Jake Marconi probably also played a huge role in it.
Okay.
The comments are crazy. Who's the best female swimmer in the field? Leah Thomas.
Oh shit! Did it say that?
Yes.
God, I love this show. Okay.
So you broke down, JR. Did you break down the MWG a little bit?
No, I just said that we have 2 workouts so far that are released out of the 5 that have an MWG component.
Yeah, and the other 3 are single modality, to point out, which is, to this point, to me, slightly concerning that 3 of the 5 announced workouts are just one implement or one modality. The Burj run being just a stair run, the 1 rep max hang clean just being a hang clean, and then barbell furious just being 30 reps on a 100-kilo bar for men and a
Yeah, and I
macho
think
man complex.
Yeah, and I think before we actually dive into the details of these release workouts, something I said at the very beginning is something that I'm already seeing with these 5 released workouts, and something that we need to leave up for, I guess, for discussion. How much freedom they had to do whatever they wanted, how much the person that puts on the event said, no, I want to see this, I want to see this, and I want to see this, or just how much they were told, hey, I want you to stay true to Dubai. I want you to have some things that we normally have. In the recent years, we've seen a barbell sprint. We saw a 777 workout. We saw last year 15 snatches into 15 clean and jerks at a moderately heavy load. We usually see that. And we see
I
that
hear
here.
you, JR, but
Wow, did they really do that? I remember that last year because the Charlotte Classic had a
and the
workout
year
like
and
that,
the year before.
and they
And the year
copied it.
before. with
JR,
snatches.
I totally hear you. But that being said, it's like if I go to my seamstress and I say, hey, make me a pair of shorts, and all he's ever made is pants, like he still made the shorts and his name is still on it.
Exactly.
So
And
I have
there's-
to,
For sure.
I mean,
For sure. I just,
you know what I'm saying?
I think
And
that
there's
it's,
still
I think
room
it's
for
always
creativity.
wise
yeah.
with 3 of the 8 not known that you can't comment too favoritively or otherwise when you don't have the complete test. Yeah.
Okay, fair.
you can.
You can already see some things that you don't care for, like 3
Yeah.
single modality tests out of 8. Some people just don't like that, whether or not Dubai usually does it or not, for sure. You may see 3 barbell centric workouts, right? Where the last set of snatches in this workout may end up being the whole workout. And
Well,
then
you
you
just
have
have
a barbell only workout, and then you have a max. So all 3 of those
That's
you
on a
may be able to
barbell.
argue are all barbell centric workouts, and you may just not like that.
I don't necessarily care for, to a degree, saying whether or not I like it. I think out of 8 workouts, it's a little bit redundant to have 2 workouts that are only a barbell. 2 of the 8 are just a barbell, and they're very short, potentially 8 reps on the max.
Let's get into them. Let's get into
right.
them before we run out of time. Let's get
You
into
start
them.
here.
Sorry to cut you off. But we don't know how you watch this. We're trying to figure it out. We went to their YouTube page. We know they're not streaming the first event. We had Brian on. We know he's commentating the events. He told us that they have great pride in the sharing of the event, but we still don't have times of how to watch it in the US or where. We're assuming it's YouTube, but you go to their YouTube station and you don't see anything. Don't question JR. Yeah, I don't want to question JR. I just question JR, prepared to be wrong. I understand.
No, question me. Me and Taylor question each other all the time.
I get it.
I think they have OnlyFans. That's where you can watch it. Can we talk about this workout?
Okay, yes. Workout, get a grip. It's a 22-minute time cap, 40 cal on the row. I'm 30 for women, 40 toes to bar, 40 snatch, 75, 55. Then back to the rower for another 40, 30 cals. Then another 40 toes to bar. Then 20 snatches at 115 and 75. Then back to the rower, 40 and 30 cals. Then 40 toes to bar. My goodness. Then 10 snatch, 185, 135. I'm going to just go out on a limb here and say that maybe not. You guys think this is too busy? Maybe not. Maybe it's just the way it's written.
I think the way it's written is too busy. And me and JR talked about this in the group text, that the way it reads is a chipper. It's in fact a rounds for time triplet, and it's 3 rounds for time. They should have written it 3 rounds for time, 40, 30 calorie row, 40 toes to bar, then 40, 20, 10 snatches, increasing weight.
Okay.
So if you write it that way, it's a lot cleaner. That was one thing I wanted to mention is I wasn't a huge fan of the event release graphics that they used. It just seems very rudimentary and like, I don't know, kind of like you had a bunch of college students that are practicing like social media marketing, and you allowed them to create the workout posts instead of someone, I don't know. I don't know how else better to say that I just didn't like the post. They look like shit.
It's good. That's consistent with how a lot of the marketing's done in the CrossFit space. Do you like this workout, JR?
Yeah, I do. I really do like to work it. I have some questions about the loading progression.
Yeah, me too.
I think 75, 55 at 40 reps comparatively to 185, 135 at 10 reps is perfect. Plus, I think going from the 40, 40 to start the workout into the 40 snatches, you're going to go ahead and just set the tone for a grip limitation, which is awesome, and progressing the load. I'm curious in testing how it worked and why it wasn't 135, 95, so that the jumps were a little bit more uniform. Just on paper, looking at it, you go 2 minutes per movement. That's an 18-minute, 22-minute cap. Seems appropriate, but I don't think a lot of these athletes need 2 minutes 3 times to do 40 toes to bar.
No.
So I think it's going to go a little bit faster.
And neither on the snatches either.
Again, but otherwise, I think it's awesome. I think 120 toes to bar is a really, really appropriate dose. I think that you'll see some separation probably on the last set of those 40, but I think it's going to kind of come down to what does that first snatch feel like at 185, 135? And those that aren't blown up when they get there are just going to be able to separate themselves on those.
And I agree. I think this is the workout that I like the most. And my only, same thing with JR. My only concern about it is the jump from 115 to 185 or 75 to 135. But I would also disagree. I think that 40 snatches at 75 pounds is harder than 10 snatches at 185. I think it takes longer personally. So I think the distribution is fair. I just am unsure about the loading. Like you said, the jump from 115 to 185 seems a little questionable to me.
Dennis O'Lary, Morning Chalk Up, has the link for day 2 live stream. When you see this, when I see this, I just think right away, I see Matt Fraser's signature on it because this is a Pacers workout, right? Like if Justin Medeiros was here, we would see him maybe somewhere in there when we get to those 20 snatches at 115 start to move, right? This is going to be the winner of this is going to be the guy who paces this perfectly, right? This can just be finished by a pacer.
I think this is other than the row, I think this is a classic. It's not the size of the sets that you're doing. It's how little or how much rest you're taking in between them. So there's a lot of bait here in that 75 for 40 reps and 55 for 40 reps. Everyone can hammer those 40 if they want unbroken and get right back on the rower. But should you? A lot of those athletes can do the 115, 75 for 20 unbroken. Do they, or do they do quick singles to save it for the last round? So I think there's a lot of strategy involved in this.
Taylor?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of strategy too. I mean, I hate to be like, oh, this is a signature Matt Fraser. It's a longer workout. Anytime you've got a longer workout, strategy becomes a lot more important.
All right. Any stabs in the dark at who might win this? I know I haven't given you lists of the
I think Brent
athletes.
Fikowski's a great option to win this workout.
I like Janikowski in this.
And for the ladies?
Don't know enough about the women's field for me to comment on that.
Chair?
I still like Matilda Garnes on this. I know that was one that Brian said he thought would do really well in the stair workout, but I think she'll crush this too.
Going in, so we're guessing this is the third workout. We don't know for sure. The workouts aren't numbered. We're just going in the order that they were released. We have 5 workouts, but we know in totality there's 800 points. So we're making the conclusion that there's 3 more workouts. We don't know. We don't know where they're at. And so here we go. Workout fast like an oryx. That's one of those.
What is an oryx?
It's one of those that like you pay money to hunt in Texas. like they've imported them in.
A dude ranch. That's funny.
I think my sister works on a ranch where you can blast one of these. Let's see.
Let's go blast an oryx.
Let's see. Some sort of exotic animal here. It's this thing.
Oh wow. That doesn't look that fast. They look fucking huge, but it's not like I wouldn't think it's like as fast as a gazelle.
So
maybe wrong. I could be retarded.
Maybe it's a slow event. Okay. We don't see the time cap right off the back. Okay, it's interval. 4 sets, intervals, 2:30 on, 1 minute off. 10 shuttle runs, 10 burpee box clear overs, max rep thrusters, weight 1, 70 pounds, and 50, weight 2, 50 and 35. Athletes will advance the dumbbells. Okay, so these are dumbbells. every 8 reps until they reach 40 total rep with weight 1. Oh, I'm fucking lost already. Once the athlete reaches 40 reps, they will switch to 50, 30. Oh, okay. 50, 35 dumbbell, and continue to advance every 5 steps.
That's the theme of this workout, is that you're lost already.
Is that you don't like it?
I like the idea behind it. I love interval workouts. I like the burpee box clear. I love the dumbbell thruster. I don't love the shuttle run, but I'm okay with it.
How far is the shuttle run? Do we know?
No idea. I would
It's-
imagine it's 30 down, 30 back.
I think it's going to be about 25 down, 25 back. Brian said it should be about like a standard shuttle run.
Okay. So I don't like that's busy in a competitive setting, watching people do that 10 times. I just am not a huge fan of that. Like, put them on a runner and make them run a 200-meter. Personally, I think that's just, yeah, I don't know. I don't like the visual of the shuttle, but that's not my main gripe with the workout. I'm okay with the shuttle. My main gripe with the workout is that it is, kind of like you said about the other one, it reads so busy and it seems like they're trying just a little too hard. I'm not a fan of the, split minute interval. Like, I don't like the fact that it's 2:30 on, 1 off. I would have rather seen them try to make 2 minutes on, 1 minute on work, or 2 minutes on, 1 minute off work, or 3 minutes on, 1 minute off work. I think 2:30 on, 1 off, one right off the bat, it just reads confusing. The athletes are going to be confused on the floor. Odds are the announcers are going to mess it up at some point on the floor for the athletes. They messed our intervals up at Wadapalooza, and that was 2 minutes on, 1 minute off, and couldn't have been any easier. So you just make it a little more complicated. And for what? Like, what is that extra 30 seconds of work doing? You can make the dose similar with 2 minutes of work, 1 of rest, or make the dose similar with 3 minutes on, 1 minute off. So I personally don't like that. And then finally, is it 4 total reps? Is it an AMRAP with the 50s? Like, there's no clarity there. Like, okay, this workout is an AMRAP. It is for max reps, dumbbell thrusters, 40 reps buy-in with the 70s and the 50s, and then max repetitions with the 50s, 35s, which is going to be, the intent of the workout. Or is there amount of reps that they get with the 50s and it's for time? Like, it's unclear.
Let me ask you this, JR, if I'm understanding this workout right. It's basically a 250-meter run. Then you got to jump over a box 10 times. And then you do as many thrusters as you can. And once you hit 40, you switch to a lighter weight.
Yes.
And then at 2:30, everyone has to stop.
Yeah. And no one's going to hit 40 in the first interval. So you're going to do a 250-meter run, 10 burpee box jump all the way overs. So they're not going to be able to touch the top of the box. And then they'll advance their 70-pound dumbbells. They'll probably, I think most athletes will get maybe 20 to 25 reps in that first interval, maybe 30.
So why do they have a weight too if you don't think anyone's going to get to it?
No, they will. They have 4 intervals to get to it.
Oh, you don't start over at the beginning every time?
You do.
No. You start over at the beginning, but you pick up where you left off on the dumbbells.
Okay.
All right, so this is the flow of the workout.
Okay,
this is
yeah.
the flow of the workout.
Yeah.
You'll have the athletes. You have the athletes starting, well, in this scenario, starting probably right in front of their box. They'll go down and back, down and back, down and back 10 times. When they get back on the 10th shuttle run, they'll drop down and immediately go into their burpees. After their 10th burpee, they'll have to walk around the box. They'll go pick up their dumbbells. They'll start. They'll do 8. There's 45 seconds left. They'll move forward. They'll do 8 more. They're at 16. They'll move forward. They'll do 4 more, and then they'll say time, and they're at 20. They'll put their dumbbells down.
Everyone stops.
Correct. And you'll look around, and some will be at 20, and some will be at 22, and some will be at 16, and some will be at whatever. They'll reset. They'll go again. What's probably going to happen is that someone's going to barely finish the 40 in the second interval, or most likely not finish in the second interval and have to finish them up on the third interval. But then at that point, they get to the lighter dumbbells, and you already have a huge separation right there, because whoever can get their hands on the lighter dumbbells first are going to be able to accumulate a lot more reps way faster. The only thing that I see when I look at the workout flow-wise is that you make the numbers odd. The shuttle run doesn't matter. It's a down and back. But when you get to the box on the last rep, they need to jump over the box and run to their dumbbells and immediately start. There doesn't need to be a jump over the box and then walk around the box to go to their dumbbells.
So a 9 or 11.
Just an odd number, sure.
Okay.
But the way it reads on paper here, the 10, if you go 6-ish seconds per shuttle run, which is about what it is when you're keeping a good pace, probably a little faster in this scenario, you have a minute there. You have about 30 seconds-ish for the burpee box clear. With transitions, you're looking at 45 seconds to a minute on the dumbbells every interval. So I think a really, really good score is going to be in the 60s. I don't think anyone's going to hit 70.
I put in my notes that I would imagine most people are going to be between 55 and 75 thrusters. I don't know if anyone will get into 70s. I imagine the person that wins it might get into 70. The reason I say that is I think you can get 40 dumbbell thrusters done in 2 intervals. And then can you get 35 reps with the 50s in the next 2 intervals? I don't know. I think so.
Down and back is 1, Chase. Come on.
So I have
Barry. Sorry, Taylor. Barry Cockiner. Barry Cockiner. I'm only responding to this because of your name. We've already looked at this. Is an Oryx. Already looked.
Yeah,
at this.
Barry. You sit on its antlers every night.
Yeah. What's that? Balenciaga. It's a Balenciaga doll.
That was a fucked up joke I made earlier. Okay.
Okay. Hey, this is gonna look beautiful. This is gonna be fun to watch. This one is gonna be fun to watch.
It's just I don't know.
Yeah, these interval style workouts ever since the 2-2-3 intervals has been something that I know I started doing in my competitions. I know Taylor does them in his competitions. I think they're an awesome way to test fitness.
Yeah.
But your bias will come into play. Do you like this style of workout with a 4-time element? So they're going until they hit 50 thrusters and then they're done? Or do you like it in this way where you're like, nah, everyone's going to do 10 minutes of work. It's an AMRAP. How many reps can you get? And what I do like about it is when they switch to the lighter dumbbells, they're going to advance every 5 instead of advancing every 8. So you'll get to see a little bit more closely who's in the lead.
I like for time. I know JR likes for time too. I personally think that the AMRAP's okay. Again, I just look at the workout and I think it just took me and JR 20 minutes to describe it to Sevan, and Sevan knows a lot about CrossFit. And so when somebody who has no fucking idea what they're looking at looks at this, they're just, next channel. Like they just have no fucking idea what's going on. And you could make it easier to read. You can make it simpler by it being for time. You can make it cleaner by it not being 230 on, 1 off, but instead it's 2 on, 1 off. You can eliminate that fucking paragraph description of the workout. Like it just, I don't know. It's really busy and confusing. And I'm not a huge fan. I like the movements. I like interval style workouts. I just don't think this was executed well.
So what we have seen in these first 3 workouts is these are mental toughness workouts. There's really nothing stopping anyone on the field. All these athletes can do all of this stuff. It's just going to come down to metabolic conditioning and mental toughness, right? That's where we're at here.
Correct.
I would say the workout we went over previously is probably more so muscular endurance and not capacity limiting.
To a degree. I think the best in the field, it's not that muscular capacity limiting.
Where do you see that? You're just talking about the last
120
Oh, okay.
No, just general grip fatigue. Yeah, I mean, even if the barbell feels light to you, if your grip shot and you go to pull it and you don't have your pull, then you just got to stand there. It doesn't matter if you're out of breath or not.
But I don't think that grip limits you at a 185 bar. I think grip limits you at a 75 and a 115 bar, and I don't think that the best in the field will hit that fatigue that early on. I think if it went 40, 20, then 40 again at 75 pounds, then you would really fucking smash some people grip-wise. But let's move on.
And what we're guessing is the 4th workout. It's called Barbell Furious. It's a 3-minute time cap, and so this continues along that theme, right? Where we haven't seen anything that's going to stop anyone yet. These are all go workouts, right? For time, 10 cleans, 100 pounds for the men, 70 for the women.
No, kilograms.
Oh,
so it's a 220 bar and like a 150, 55 bar.
So these are kilograms.
No, that's pounds. This was another thing I put in my notes. It's super confusing in the graphics where they go from pounds, but this first one is pounds.
How do you know?
It's
Someone-
intuitive. It's intuitive, and they
Well, no,
responded
someone
to a
asked in the
comment.
comments.
Yeah, someone
Yes,
asked in the comments.
someone asked in the comments, are they supposed to be kgs on the barbell?
This is the
workout?
only
They said
workout
yes.
that is listed in kilograms.
There you go, right there.
But it's just confusing. So that's another confusing element. But the weight is appropriate.
Okay.
So it's 10 cleans. We're not sure whether it's mandatory squat or not. We can imagine.
So it's yeah. So it's not. It's
Okay.
a clean anyhow, and in this workout, I mean, we know some things. They have to advance every 10, but they have to advance with the barbell on the ground. So they do their 10th clean. They cannot walk forward in the front rack and then begin to squat. They have to drop the bar and roll it. And I think that was just a safety concern. So then they'll do another clean to start their set of front squats. And after the 10th front squat, they'll advance again, but they cannot advance in the front rack and immediately go into the shoulder to overhead. They have to drop the bar and roll it forward. And then they'll have to clean again to the front rack to go into their shoulder to overhead. But I mean, to me, Taylor will probably not agree. The workout's going to come down to those last 10 reps. And the people that think they can hold on to it for all 10 may take a risk and do it. But you've seen in these kind of workouts before, failing one rep overhead is not a 3-second break. You fail a rep, you're going to stand there for at least 10 seconds. And the separation in this workout is going to be, there's going to be 5 spots in 10 seconds.
I agree for sure. I'm not a big fan of the workout. I think I like single modality barbell workouts. I programmed one last year at my event. So it's not a format that I dislike. I just think that it lacks creativity. It's bland. 10, 10, 10, blah. I don't know. I just choose a different number, make it a descending rep scheme. The clean is easier than the squat, is easier than the shoulder to overhead. Make the difficulty, make the reps decrease as the difficulty increases. I don't know. And then on top of that, it's the second workout that's just a barbell, only a barbell. To this point, I mean, we've only got 5 announced workouts, and 2 of them are just a barbell. I'm just not a huge fan of that.
I love this workout. I think it's going to be cool.
It'll be a fun race. It'll be really exciting to watch. There'll be very, very, very tight margins. You'll see people, like I said, go for it, and they'll fail a rep, and then someone next to them will drop it and plan one break on the shoulder overhead and end up passing 3 people at the end. I mean, you'll see that. But
would you like this as a final workout, Taylor?
Yeah.
What if this was the final event?
It depends on all of the other workouts with it. We only have.
But I mean, let's say they're all great. Let's say all the workouts are great. Wouldn't this be a fantastic race?
I mean, workout alone, I like the workout alone. I would like a different rep scheme, like maybe 13 cleans, 11 front squats, 9 shoulder to overhead. Just make it look cooler. I don't know, 10, 10, 10. I just don't like 10, 10, 10. I think it's too
I hear you. I
am a creative. Very creative mind, and I know JR is creative with numbers too, and I know that he would not be satisfied with just 10, 10, 10.
All right, so I mentioned them staying true to Dubai, and that doesn't just mean, okay, in the past couple of years, they've done like a barbell sprint type workout, where last year they did 15 snatches at a weight and then 15 clean and jerks at a little heavier weight. The year before they did, for time, 7 power snatches, 7 hang snatches, 7 squat snatches, right? So this is very in line with that. What seems to be like they really did their homework on was in 2016, the strength test was 10 minutes to find a 1 rep max clean plus front squat plus jerk. So they're bringing back that movement, that pattern 6 years later to use as a barbell cycling workout. And I have to believe that was done purposefully. And if it was, and it's kind of an homage to the old Dubai workouts of the past, that's cool. I think the workout is really cool on its own. When we start to break down, though, the similar movement patterns, dumbbells in the front rack, 1 rep max hang clean in the front rack,
shoulder to
clean in the front rack,
and
front squat in the front rack, shoulder to overhead. We see a lot of similarities in movement patterns in 3 of the released workouts so far. And I think that's where Taylor is at more so than anything else.
Do you like the rep scheme 10, 10, 10? Would you be satisfied?
That doesn't bother me as much. Like, I don't really care about what the numbers are. It's more about what the movements are.
You liar, dude. Me and you argued about your overhead squat pegboard numbers for an hour.
Okay,
10, 10 is still clean, though.
Easy with the name calling. Okay, who wins this?
Keep scrolling. Keep scrolling. There's got to be some big. Oh,
Reggie
Sam Corn-
Fossa.
I think Sam.
Reggie Fossa.
I
That's
like
my pick.
Sam Cornier.
Oh, he's not there. He's not there. He pulled
Yeah,
out.
Sam's not going.
He pulled out.
He
Why?
pulled out. I think just finances, but I don't know for sure.
Mayhem's not paying him to go. That's fucked.
Yeah,
No,
well,
they were
That's a
only
bummer.
going to pay. They were only
You're-
going to pay him $500,000.
You're below the cut line, man.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
right. Thank you. Okay.
These are all the schmucks.
I say Reggie Fossa.
Yeah, I don't know enough about the men's field.
I don't
to
think
make
Ricky Garard's going either.
Really?
No.
Wow.
I think the big names there are Lazar Jukic,
Anal. I think that guy
Koski
Anal
and
wins it.
Trafalki.
Fikowski, who's the other? Con Porter and
back up.
Yanikoski. Yanikoski.
no,
Those are
look.
the four big names.
Scroll back up a little bit. Anal. He's going to take this event.
From Spain?
Yeah.
How about this kid from Greece? This guy's strong as shit, isn't he? Alex
Georgios.
Katulis?
No, he's a less of a strength athlete than.
How about the other guy, Georgos Karavis?
Georgios Karavis? I don't know. I don't know what his strength is like. I really don't know shit about the field.
All right. Let's look at the women. The ladies.
Taylor Howe.
Oh, that's a good pick. Man and Anganese.
From the United Kingdom. Oh, Mangan Anganese. Yes. Man on Anganese. Yes, I agree. Okay, fair enough. Back to the show. Okay, and finally, the last workout we know, 5 of what we were speculating, of 8, a little maybe more than speculating. Taylor's already giving it a thumb. Is there anything you like about this so far, Taylor?
About this workout or
No, about
event?
just the totality of this.
Yeah, I love the 40 cal row, 40 toe to bar snatch workout. I love the Burj run. I just don't like that they can't run it against athletes in clusters. I like most of the movements in the interval workout. I just don't like how messy it is.
Okay, so you do like some shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I like. I'm highly critical, but I'm highly critical of myself too. So it's, people watching me and think I'm a fucking dick, but I'm critical of my best friends.
I am a dick. I'm just a dick to myself too.
Exactly. I'm this way to everybody.
Max lift, 1 rep max hang clean.
Don't like it.
Have we ever seen that before?
No, it's never been done in a major competition.
They've done hang snatch. Where did they do
for a
hang
1 rep
snatch? Was that at the games?
Hang snatch was done at regionals.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
3 bars. When there's 1 competitor left, move to 1 bar center stage. Okay, so it's a max hang snatch. You have 20-second lifting window, 10-second transition. You only get 1 attempt, and the weights are already made. For the men, it starts at 305. It moves up in 10-pound increments until it gets to 345. And for the women, it starts at 200 and goes up to 250 in 10 and 5-pound increments. Wow.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I think there's actually a lot to talk about here. I mean, sure, on paper, it's a 1 rep max hang clean. Okay, cool. Well, normally when we see lifting windows, you can do multiple attempts in that window. We know here there's only 1 attempt. So you miss it, you're out, period. So you catch a little far forward, or you dump the bar a little bit early and you don't stand up all the way, you're out. You're automatically going to the tie break platform. Also, too, those starting weights for this field, I don't think are super accessible. I don't think it's really far-fetched to see people go out early. And, we saw at Rogue 2, there were some issues, I think, with the warm-up time, but we saw people not really be able to groove their log technique, and people went out maybe a little bit earlier than they thought they would. And I'm not saying that these are the two, these two things are the same. One's an odd object, one's something these athletes do every week. But starting at 305, 200, I think you're going to see some people go out pretty early.
The
other thing too,
let me just throw this in here too. I just looked up world record hang snatch, and it just automatically reverts to snatch. That's how rare this is in Google. Like on the first page, there's not a single hang snatch, even though I typed in hang snatch. Sorry, go ahead, JR.
Yeah, so we know that the cleans can be done anyhow, so they can power them or they can squat. But when they get to that tie break, it's 5 reps for time at 225, 155 ish. and those have to be squat clean.
Oh, they have to be by the rules, or they have to be because they're so heavy?
No, for the tie break, that's going to be a really light load. So if like 3 athletes go out at 3:15, they're going to move on to the tie break, and they're going to do that for time, like they did at the games with the light sandbags, like they did, at a lot of recent competitions. Those have to be squat clean. 5 hang squat clean for time. But when they're working their way up on the ladder, it can be power or squat.
Let me contextualize this really quick. If you go to Google and you type in hang snatch, it's every single one on the first page. It's a CrossFit video.
I bet if you put in hang clean, the same thing would happen.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. Taylor, do you think that JR's right that these weights are so heavy that we're going to just see people just getting wiped out in the first round?
Can you pull the workout up? I was,
Sure.
to be honest, when I looked at it initially, I thought that the weights, that there would be a few guys who cleared the whole ladder.
I think so too. I just think that the starting loads are going to be heavy for some of the people in this field.
Like, can Yanikoski do a 305-pound hang snatch?
Does it have to be a squat?
Clean.
Oh, sorry. It is. Oh, that's why I was typing.
It doesn't have to be a squat either.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't have to be a squat.
I think that there will be athletes that struggle with the starting weights for sure, but I also think there will be a couple athletes that finish the whole ladder. So I think it's going to go both ways. I think we have outliers. I don't think we have necessarily. I think the workout, it's interesting. In some regards, it's appropriate because there's going to be athletes that get knocked out at 3:15 or 2:10 for sure. It's inappropriate in the fact that there are going to be several athletes that finish it. I think at the games, you would probably see the loading continue to go, or something like the sandbag happens where if people keep going, they just keep adding fucking weight.
And we don't know what the tie break weight is.
Dude, I don't know that more than maybe one person in each field finishes it.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Okay, well that makes me feel better about only one attempt. I was looking at it wrong. I apologize. It's not a hang snatch. So with only one attempt with the hang snatch, I was getting a little worried. But with the hang clean, it seems a little more doable. All right,
and that's it. That's all that's been announced.
Okay, and this is a straight up strength event. And why don't you, Taylor? Do you not like the movement, hang clean? Do you not like it as a strength event?
No, I just don't like 3 single modality workouts out of 8. I mean, it's CrossFit. You don't train CrossFit to go to an 8 event competition and do an hour run, a 1 rep max lift, and then 30 reps on a barbell. Personally, I think out of 15 workouts at the games, that's fine. But out of 8 tests, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I only see 2 single modality.
The Barbell Furious is just 30 reps on the barbell. The modality is weightlifting, so it's just one implement. It's a different movement.
Is that right, JR? What he's saying?
That's correct.
All right, fine.
It would be like you're calling 333 single modality. It is. It's a 3K row, 300 double unders, 3-mile run. It's all monostructural, but I don't know. I'm okay with Barbell Furious as actually one of the workouts. I would prefer that's one of the workouts over the 1 rep max. Make it heavier and make it 963. I think is cool. They've done something similar at Wadapalooza, which I like that. I'm just not a fan of that 3 times out of the 8.
Where can I find this Liver King video?
Dude, bring him up. Someone in the comments asked if I think it's lazy programming. I don't know that. I think it's unfair to call it lazy. But there are people who are really creative and look at that and play with things until they feel like they look like something that other people would be pleased to read or elegant on paper and still simple. I think Greg did an amazing job of cultivating that himself, but also like kind of teaching that art of programming. Dave also as well, really beautiful programming. JR does a really good job of it. And I'm not an expert by any means, but I feel like I've learned a lot from people like that and have watched a lot from people like that and have seen a lot of people that are kind of like, a bull in a china shop with their programming where it's just not elegant at all. And I prefer that elegant simplicity, and I don't see a lot of that here. It looks more like a bull in a china shop.
God, I hate to say it, I agree with you. It almost seems pretentious, but I do agree with you. I do agree with you. The workout, and you're right. I saw a lot of time being spent on not only what workouts did to people, but what they looked like.
Yeah,
and I do know that Greg comes from a family of mathematicians, and that basically the fewer steps that you could solve a problem in, that was considered the elegant solution.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Interesting. But I still think it's a little pretentious of us, but I'm okay. I'm okay with it. Okay. Let me just make one trip over here to
Liver King is Taylor's dad. In the comments.
Let me go over here to Morning Chalk Up and see what's going on their YouTube page. Maybe that is where we have to watch it. Let me share the screen with you guys. Give me 1 second here. Okay.
Dude, could you imagine if Liver King programmed the event? Someone said Liver King should have programmed the event. Kettlebell carry sled drag 1 mile for time. Primals. Okay, so we have 1 day ago. Athletes watch beyond the podium. Dubai Fitness Championship Women's Podium. Guess who said I don't want to just win? I want to make. Yeah, who did say that? A statement. Matt Fraser. Oh wow, who's this guy? Oh, it's a collage of interviews, so you'd have to watch it to actually find out. Did they all say that? That's my guess. Let me see live. Okay, so it is over at the Morning Chalk Up. Oh, no. Lazar said it. Apparently, Lazar said it. I like that. I like Lazar. So, no, it's not on the Morning Chalk Up. I don't see it, guys. Wow, the big whiff. I don't see it. I mean, help me out here. I went to the live streams. I don't see anywhere where you can click it and get the notifications. Shit, Hiller's in the comments. Can we send him a link? Sure. Where do you see him? He said, "Sup, Bruce." Scroll up. Andrew Hiller. Do I have Hiller's phone number? Yes, dude. What the fuck are you talking about? I know. I call him. Get your text messages out of here, dude. Oh, mine? On the screen. Oh, shit. Well, thank you.
Hey, check the group. Will Brandsetter just sent a link.
Okay, cool.
Thank you for notifying me about my text messages being up there. What a fucking mess that is. Dude, Liver King kind of looks like he has jaundice. He's just so like fucking discolored. Like, is that from sun or is he tanning? If I got that much sun, I'd have fucking melanoma. Hold on, I'm checking to see if anything was revealed in my text messages. Okay. No, nothing. No, you're good, dude. Sack of dildos I ordered on. Sack of dildos. I had 2 friends that had this bisexual roommate, and when he was moving out, there was an actual bag of dildos in his room. It's a pretty funny story. And he'll like admit to it too, the guy. Good dude. It's a good dude. Okay, there's too many fucking text messages coming in now. Oh, it's unlisted on their YouTube. Oh, is that what you're saying? How the fuck?
No, go to the text he sent right before that has a website link, right?
I just see that Will Brandsetter just sent this and it says unlisted on their YouTube. How the fuck would he have it if it's unlisted? What a fucking savage.
Yeah, but for all the people out there that are still thinking about these 5 events and what could possibly come, Dubai almost always has ring muscle ups in their workout. They must always have rope climbs. They must always have parallel handstand push-ups. They must always have handstand walk. They also usually require something to be unbroken. In years past, they've had unbroken mandates on ring muscle ups from 1 up to 10. They've had unbroken handstand walks. They've had a lot of skills that we haven't seen come out yet. And if you just look at this programming so far, there's a lot of barbell cycling. There's a lot of grunt work capacity type stuff. There's 120 toes to bar and some burpees. That's really the only gymnastics that we have. So I think we're going to get a lot of gymnastics that'll come out. If you're an athlete that's weak in the front rack, there are 3 workouts that you see with front rack limitations. You see the barbell complex workout, you see the hang clean, which is just catching a heavy load, and then you see the heavy dumbbell thrusters, which just makes you be strong in a front rack position. So we may get overhead walking lunges. We may get a lot more midline stability, but I definitely think we're going to get a lot more upper body push and pull.
And that to me personally concerns me a little bit, because you see something like, okay, we don't have ring muscle ups yet. We don't have rope climbs yet. We don't have parallel handstand push-ups yet. We don't have handstand walk yet. Do you think 3 workouts is a broad enough spectrum to express that many missing elements to this point?
Well, in the past, we've had workouts that were like 963 rope climb with 30-meter handstand walk after each. So a couplet of only gymnastics. We've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 10 of unbroken ring muscle ups with handstand walk preceding. So another gymnastics couplet. So if we get that again, if we get some GG and some really dense, if we get some really dense gymnastics, then I think it will balance it.
Okay, and I just think it's a little precarious. Like they're treading on thin ice with that many leftover movements and so few workouts to do it when they had 5 events to do a little bit more with, in my opinion.
Well, we don't have a chipper yet. So if they have a long chipper, which Dubai typically does, sometimes they have a kitchen sink type chipper where they'll have 3 rounds of these 3 movements and then 2 rounds of these 3 movements and then 2 rounds of these 2 movements. So if we have a workout like that, there's a lot of ground that can still be covered as far as movement patterns go.
I just want to tell you that I'm going to put it in the chat one more time here. This is the link. If you want to go to and get the unlisted URL, you can click notify me and you'll get a notification when day 2 starts. I don't know why they haven't put that up themselves yet. Maybe the link will change too. Maybe the time will change. But either way, they can do all that stuff on the fly. Will you cover the legends next week at CrossFit Mayhem? We haven't been asked to participate in that in any way, except that Jason Grubb. That's who that is, right? That's the Masters champ, Jason Grubb.
Yeah.
He's competing there, and I've asked him to come on the show for like 10 or 15 minutes every day and just give us an update of how it's going and what's going on. And actually he reached out to me and was like, and anyway, I just loved it. It's a little bit of a collaboration. So every day that we're on the air, I'm going to try to give him 10 or 15 minutes and ask him a bunch of questions and see if we know what's going on there. But I don't know anything about it other than the little bit that he's reached out to me. So you guys are saying that this thing can still, so far so good, but these next 3 they could blow it, or it could be an amazing 8 events.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions for sure that remain unanswered. One of my questions for Taylor though, because I know how he feels about one workout having a high volume squat, is that the thruster workout? And if you see another workout with squatting, are you automatically going to say too many squatting workouts? Because right now we have 3.
I don't think this volume right now is such that there can't be more squatting, personally.
Yeah, I think there's going to be another squatting workout, and I think that'll make 4 out of the 8 that have squatting. Yeah,
and I'm okay with that. I mean, again, I'll go back to one of my favorite programmed years is the 2017 games, and that was like fucking squatting almost in every workout.
Well, what don't you want to see then? What is it? Not what you don't want to see then? It's what you want to see.
It's what I want to see.
I want to see a rope climb swim event.
I think that would actually be really cool. I don't know how they would possibly do it, and I know you're being facetious, but
40-foot nylon ropes.
You fucking dick.
Those slippery ones.
I mean,
with a fucking 30-foot dildo you have to climb.
No, there'd be no dildos in it. Go ahead, JR.
There's always, I mean, Dubai's kind of always prided itself on doing things before anyone else. They programmed Devil Press, which they called a dumbbell burpee ground to overhead in 2015. They were the first competition to ever do it, and they've kind of been a staple ever since. So we have dumbbell thrusters. Will we still have Devil Press? That's a question. They had deck squats one year.
I hate the deck squats.
They had A squats one year.
I like to see more than
there's a lot of. They had supinated grip, kipping chest to bar pull-ups one year. So will they still kind of get funky and do some things that maybe other people won't program?
I like to see more than just 40 burpees in an event, personally. I think that in human movement and in kind of functional movement, getting down on the ground and up off the ground is as basic of a movement as a squat is. Equally, potentially equally as important to a functional human being to be able to get off the ground and get on the ground. I like burpees a lot, so I like to see more than just 40 reps in this workout. I don't know. Not
But
enough burpee
remember-
volume for me.
Right. Yeah. I hear
If
what
they
you're
have
saying.
devil's press, I like that.
But remember in the open workout that was repeated, right? The 21, 18, 15 workout with thrusters and burpees over the bar. Look at what that did to people's triceps. So you have this heavy dumbbell thruster into the light dumbbell thruster with all the pressing off the ground on the burpee at a high speed. I think if you start to add in those 80 plus repetitions of pressing, you still want ring muscle up or bar muscle up. You still probably get some sort of handstand push-up or handstand walk. You already have 10 shoulder to overhead. At that point, or is it just way overkill on the
Right.
press?
At this point, more pressing is just kind of like, I don't know. I agree, but I would come in my pants if they had burpee bar muscle ups. That's one of my favorite movements. I just love the way they look. It's like a squat snatching competition.
Between
there's
me
so
and you,
much
we're
there.
never going to get any sponsors or invited to cover any of that.
You see ring muscle up and bar muscle up a lot at Dubai and programmed in the same competition.
Which
So
I'm okay with.
Don't may see that.
I like that.
When will we know the last 3 workouts?
No
think they'll
torque
just-
tank yet.
I think they'll just come out daily. Like I think they'll release them the day of for the rest of them.
Okay. Are
But
we
maybe
doing
we
Are
get
we
one
doing
tomorrow
any
night.
more shows? Us 3?
We haven't talked about it. Do you
So-
want to?
So there's a 5-hour window. So when will that end our time? Like
How
when
are we going to watch these? Who's going to be awake? Oh, I guess for you it starts at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday. For me, it starts at 4 a.m.
I bet they're gonna bring the climber in an event.
What's the climber?
That thing Matt is doing his little
Versa
freaking
climber?
no,
Oh,
not the Versa
shit.
climber. His
Oh,
Jillian
shit.
Michaels ad.
Oh, shit. Okay, so probably Saturday or Sunday we'll get back together and we'll I have nothing on the schedule for Saturday and Sunday.
I'm potentially down for another event. I got to do some work on my car and then hang out with my girlfriend Saturday. But Sunday I'm pretty wide open.
God, you're such a redneck. Work on my car and hang out with my girl.
Pet my blue healer.
We have 2 of them.
Alrighty. Sack of dildos and coming in his pants. Welcome to the Sevan Podcast. And people like Richard Margarine. Great. Okay, guys. I will circle the wagons. I will circle back with these 2. I'll have Souza bug them. We will for sure do a recap of the programming. Taylor's very animated and fired up about it as usual. He just needs a little more caffeine next time. It is funny when JR has more energy than Taylor.
He did not have more energy than me.
Oh,
There's
yes,
no
he
way.
did.
Stop that.
10x.
I have more energy than him in general, just in life.
No, you don't, dude.
I'm just a little bit more reserved here.
Can I do a live reaction on the Liver King video? How do I? Oh, on IG. Okay. I actually am going to watch it right now. Maybe these.
Can we
guys-
pull it up?
Yeah, we can pull it up. But we
Hey,
can't. Pull it
guys.
what?
I do steroids. He talks like Ed Orgeron.
Oh, you got to show some respect.
I
Show
had the
some
flu for a
respect.
fucking week, Will. I was literally down in the bed, dude. I had a fever for 2 days. JR basically fucked me raw with the flu.
Wow.
It
Wow.
clapped me, dude. I've never been that sick in my life. It's been 10 days and I still sound like I'm hitting puberty.
Shit. What happened?
Man flu. Fuck you, Kayla. I was really sick.
I want to see if I can find the Liver King video real quick. Liver King.
It's in our group
YouTube.
text. Do you want me to resend it?
Oh, it's okay. I'm just going to type in Liver King YouTube and just find his station. Ooh, what up,
Here, I'll
Pramos?
send you the link. I'm going to go to his Instagram.
I got-
You got it?
Oh, videos. Okay, I got it.
God, he is huge. He looks
Um,
like the fucking, the link to a Christmas card that you get from your buddy and you click on it. It's that big dude with his dick hanging out, just sitting there. That's what he looks like in this video.
Okay, is it playing?
Yeah, play it.
Okay, because I can't see our screen anymore. Oh, maybe I could switch this.
You have
Okay.
to click play.
Yeah, okay, here we go.
I'm making this video
Got it.
to apologize.
That's a good opening, right?
Yeah.
Because I fucked up. Because I'm embarrassed and ashamed.
Okay. And any criticism so far?
No, he's nailing it.
Okay.
Because I lied.
Oh,
I misled a lot of people.
You didn't mislead me.
I stated that this is a complicated as fuck topic, at least to me it is, because
I don't know if it's complicated.
before social media, I was rich and anonymous. And
Oh, this is going to be good. I can't wait.
Hey, what did he do before he decided to grow his own brand? How was he rich before?
He had supplement companies. He's a businessman. You know, he's a CrossFitter too. Like he's done like he's done a bunch of CrossFit competitions.
I believe it. He's got a CrossFit body type. He doesn't have a bodybuilding body type. He's got like a CrossFit body type.
Oh, it's great. Oh, good. I love him. I love him. Oh, if he does do that, that would be awesome. To apologize, if at the end he goes like, pulls a Conor McGregor. Oh my goodness.
Holy shit.
Double
Someone-
down. What if he's like, I can't apologize. I'm too juiced up. I can't. I love him. Anyway, okay. I'm going to go watch my Liver King content now. Thanks guys for tuning in. JR Howell, Taylor Self from Self-Made Training Program. JR CrossFit Crash. JR and I are doing a show, just the two of us. Ooh, intimate. When is that?
Yeah, I wonder if he's been able to find anything because there's nothing out there.
Oh
Wow.
my God. There's so much.
What are you guys doing a fucking video on?
To find out who had a worse childhood, you or him.
I knew my wife was being sketchy the other night. She was talking to you.
December 8th.
Who had a worse childhood?
Okay, guys. I apologize. John Young couldn't make it today. He was sick.
He was in the bath. We saw proof of that.
Yeah.
Dude, I take baths. Fuck that. It's awesome.
He was Googling that doll in the bath.
That's disgusting. He was Googling Balenciaga doll in the bath.
Okay, JR is going to hurt his reputation. I'm hanging up.